Hello there and namaste. I'm Craig Bergland coming to you with another weekly message. And what I'd like to talk to you about on this beautiful Indian summer day here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You might hear the cars going by on the road, but it was 40 something when I woke up. It's about not quite 2 o'clock now. It's 70 degrees out, which is unbelievable. So I'm letting a little fresh air in. Cats could fly by. Almost anything could happen. But I'm not going to worry about it. Which brings me to what I want to talk to you about today, which is worry. You know, many of us worry. And there's some truth, probably a lot of truth, to the idea that worry never changed anything. My mother is a worrier. Her sister is a worrier, which leads me to believe that their parents, even though I couldn't see it in them, were worriers as well. We worry about what might happen. We worry about what might not happen. And sometimes a little bit of worry can be a good thing. Sometimes a little bit of worry will lead us to take action that we need to take. For example, we've got winter coming up here in the northern hemisphere, and for those of us that are lucky enough to live in snowy parts of the northern hemisphere, and I say lucky because if you live in a snowy part of the northern or southern hemisphere, it means virtually no snakes, no scorpions, nothing creepy crawly that you're going to find under your bed that's going to do great harm to you, at least most of the time. But for those of us lucky enough to live in snowy climes, there's going to be times this year when we hear that storms are approaching, and we're going to be worried about that. And that really is a low-level to mid-level anxiety, which will cause us to make the preparations we ought to be making. We'll go to the store, we'll make sure we have food. Some people will be way over the top on that one. It's just amazing to me that in Wisconsin, where we should be used to snow, you can have a forecast for about 3 inches of snow and you can't find milk for miles. We pretty much know how to deal with 3 inches of snow. But there are times when you do need to take those precautions. There are times when it is a good idea to consider maybe getting a generator. That's productive worry. That's worry where you can actually do something to make things better. It's a good thing. It's a healthy thing. I wouldn't want to talk you out of it. On the other hand, however, you've got this low-level anxiety in some people that drives worry all the time. And the worry tends to be about things that either are not very likely to ever happen, and or there's nothing we can do about them. For example, it's entirely possible, although not very likely, that a gigantic meteor will crash through the Earth's atmosphere and obliterate the city in which you live. Can you do anything about it? No. So why are you worrying about it? It's entirely possible that you'll get some sort of rare, exotic illness that will perhaps consume the flesh from your very limbs. Is it likely? No. If it happens, can you do anything about it other than go to the doctor? No. So why are you worried about it? Shantideva, an 8th century Buddhist master, said, if there is something that you can, that might come along, or that is coming along, that's harmful, and you can do something to change it or avoid it, there's no point in worrying about it. Just do what you need to do to change it or avoid it. On the other hand, he said, there's some things that might come along that you can't do anything about. And in that case, there's no point in worrying about it because you can't do anything to change it, and your worrying certainly isn't going to change it. But I'd like to suggest, while I agree with Shantideva, I'd like to suggest a third possibility. And the third possibility is that some of us engage in worrying to avoid addressing whatever issues there happen to be in our lives that we really need to address. Maybe I have problems in my relationships. Maybe I have some health issues I need to look at. Maybe the truth is I'm really not happy at work and I should be considering a change, but for some reason I don't want to do that. So instead, I'm going to worry about what the weather's going to be like this winter. I'm going to worry about the possibility of things that I cannot change, that aren't very likely to happen, but still that worrying will keep me tremendously occupied so that I don't have to look at the things that I really do need to address. That's perhaps the most damaging kind of worry there is. So while there's good worry that gets us to the store and gets up to gas up the car when the storm is coming, and while there's bad worry that really occupies us about something we can't do anything about, the kind we probably most need to address is that third kind that keeps us from looking at the real issues in our lives. Until next time, I'm Craig Bergland. Namaste.